We're talking Superman, most popular to least popular today. I hope you remember all these. I'm here with my co-host, Flynet J,
In the
who
building.
never shows his eyes ever. What's going on, man? You had an operation?
I have no eyes. I just have glasses.
Interesting. And I am Corona, so we are going to talk about the most popular Superman to the least popular. Starting off number 7, Dean Cain. Dean Cain, as you know, recently has completely shat on the new Superman movie, and his character in real life doesn't seem to be very Superman-like, unlike the rest on this list. He starred in the Adventures of Lois and Clark in the 90s. I believe it was maybe 99 to 2000, or it was 98 to 99, something like that. I liked the show. It was a great show. I don't think he's popular. Matter of fact, I know he's not popular as a person or as Superman, mainly because most people, I guess, didn't like that back in the day. Didn't have all the cool special effects like the rest of them do. And again, as his character, I don't even hear Dean Cain in the conversation in the top 6 or 7 Superman ever. We just put him here.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell that because you were like, "Oh, don't forget Dean Cain." I'm like, "Who?" I was like, "Oh yeah, that show." We had to go back and actually figure out that and look it over and say like, "Hey, okay, now I know what you're talking about," because I completely did not remember this show existed at all. So Dean Cain definitely belongs at the bottom of this list, especially because people are going to be like, "He plays Superman." Like, let me go look him up. I know him from his antics, but I know him as being Superman.
Right. Moving right along, who we got for number 6?
All right, so number 6, you'll know this one. Superman. What year was this? 2000. How was it?
6.
2006? Yeah, I feel like I was like somewhere near high school. So 2006. Brandon Roof, the Atom himself. So Brandon Roof. Now, when looking back at this movie, and I haven't seen it for a while, I feel like Brandon Roof got the short end of the stick. I just felt like him himself was fine as Superman. He just wasn't in a good Superman movie.
Right. It was incredibly boring. Oh, I'll say boring in quotes because I enjoy a long period of character development, but I don't blame people for saying it's boring because he didn't do much Supermaning the movie. He was super strong as Superman. I mean, you saw bullets bouncing off of his eyeballs. He
Yeah,
lifted half a island that was pure kryptonite
yeah,
off the planet. Yeah. I like Kevin Spacey as an older Lex Luthor, but that whole movie as a whole, it didn't even feel like a Superman movie. It felt like a civilians running around doing stuff movie to me, and Lex Luthor in the end. I didn't even like Lex Luthor's reasoning behind it because that was the most chill Superman I've ever seen. He had much to say or do with that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of remember it just about Lex Luthor's plan kind of being a little bit all over. I did like Kevin Spacey. Now, if you talk about most hated actors, Kevin Spacey
Yeah.
might be up there because he's got a lot of dirt. Actually, funny enough, my friend actually had a personal story from his cousin who's a model about Kevin Spacey sending him an email. You can fill in for yourself what that email had to talk about because he was trying to break into
Wow.
Hollywood. So that's a separate story. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I thought the movie was fine. I mean, I seen it as a kid, so I was like, oh, that's okay, but definitely not up to the snuff of the levels of movies today. But that's not on Brandon Roof. I thought he was fine as Superman.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah, that was
Scotty, at number 5, the man, the myth, the legend. Everyone's talking about him today, last year, the year before. Henry Cavill as Superman.
Yeah, you know what? For the Superman they were trying to do, I liked Henry Cavill. I didn't have any problems with it. Yeah, he was dry and a little bit darker, but I think Zack Snyder was trying to get you a Superman that wasn't perfect like the one we usually get or near perfect. Like, so he was trying. The problem is that he only got to the dark half and didn't get a chance to give a Superman 2 where it could have been showing a more comic accurate Superman who is brighter, bright colors, smiley, on camera helping people in the daytime without it raining and thunderstorming. So it's another actor that got the short end of the stick, but I like him for what he was. I don't necessarily need a page by page comic accurate Superman off the bat. I think they were working towards it. It did have one of the worst scenes in Superman movie history when his dad said basically, don't be a superhuman, don't save people. Whoa, don't worry about them at all. Oh, look, a tornado. Nope, I'm just gonna die.
It's a cool way to go.
Worst scene. That was the worst scene I've ever seen in a Superman film.
Yeah, that was pretty damn bad. I feel like Henry Cavill, I mean, it's hard to say because we have a list of 7 and he's at number 5, so he's more on the hated end. I did have a lot of beef with his Clark Kent, and I felt like that's maybe not a Henry Cavill issue, but it just felt like he was so dry all the way through being Superman in Clark Kent that I just didn't get enough emotion. I mean, we talk about the new Superman that just came out and actually seeing him work through things and think about being Superman and kind of how his mind works. We just didn't get that from Henry Cavill. I think Zack Snyder wanted to paint a darker universe, which is fine because we want to go with this grounded superhero level universe. And if superheroes were around, you'd feel like it would be a pretty dark world with people with massive powers going to destroy stuff. So I get it. I don't blame Henry Cavill necessarily. And a lot of people really like Henry Cavill. That's still their favorite Superman. Be probably 2 on this list because he's not top at number 1. That should not happen, but probably be number 2 on their list for most love. So I would say I think he did a good job. I don't hate him for it, but I think there was some things left out that would have helped us like him better as Superman that was not his fault.
Right. Facts. All right. Moving along to 4, I believe it is David Corenswet, correct?
Yes, our new Superman up to bat.
The only reason I don't think he's up farther is because he only had 1 movie. I thought his movie was a perfect representation of Superman. I mean, the scene with the squirrel that half the people thought was stupid, I thought that was one of the best scenes in the movie for Superman as a character because he tries to save everything and everybody. There's comic books now to this day when Superman is still saving cats from trees. Remember, saving the cat in the tree used to be the thing back in the day that showed how good he's still saving cats and dogs from trees. So I think he knocked it out the park. I think maybe after the Supergirl movie and the next Superman movie, whatever else Superman is going to be in, he'll be moving up to like 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think David Corenswet, one, for comic book fans, and I don't read the comics, but I feel like they've aligned a lot closer with David Corenswet than the other guys on this list. If you're talking about reading, coming right off the page into the movie, I think they did a really good job of working through those things that Henry Cavill didn't do, thinking about, how he's acting as Superman, thinking about, what's right versus what's politically right, thinking about if I have the power to do so, like, why not? And I think that helps people align with the character of, like, if you were put in that position, you feel like you would be going through the same steps as David Corenswet, Superman, in this movie. You feel like you'd be thinking about it like, okay, yeah, there may be some political beef here, but I can act and stop people from dying. Why am I not doing that? Is it wrong just because our countries have powers, or there's certain laws against that, or certain agreements against it? So I feel like he is somebody people can relate to, and that is going to push him. I mean, you say he's only 1 movie in. We get a couple more movies. It's going to push him to the more love side, because I feel like people would be like, if I was Superman, that's how it would be. Unless they're evil, then they would be Lex Luthor. But that's a side of, like, I can really relate to this character, and I can see, like, the good qualities in him that I would want in the people I know.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah. So moving on forward, you're saying David Corenswet is 4. Well, who is ahead of him? Okay. We're taking a little trip off the big screen here, and we are going with Tyler Hoechlin of Lois and Clark. So, Scotty, you really like the show. You talked about a lot. This is one thing I need to catch up on. So why is Tyler Hoechlin number 3 on our list on the more love side?
Tyler Hoechlin, even though I hated the whole Superman family story, I kind of just like him, Lois, and then maybe later on bring in a kid from a baby. It started off being a family man, moving from the city to Smallville, going back to his roots. Every time you see him on screen, he's smiling and trying to help someone or trying to defeat some threat, and at the same time saving civilians, because of course that's how fast he is. They do a good job portraying his powers. They do a great job portraying his character as Clark. His Clark Kent is definitely top 3. You get to see a lot of his Clark Kent. I think you see more Clark Kent than anything. And then his Superman, you actually see a tonal shift when he becomes Superman. He's still smiling, still helping out people, still being Superman. But then you get to decide when he's tough. Even when he's tough, Superman still isn't Dragon Ball Z, I'm gonna yell at you. It's like, okay, I'm only doing this to stop you so I can save people. You get a Clark Kent Superman feel every time, he is one or the other. It's not like you said Henry Cavill, who was dry in both. So then, like I
Yeah.
said, not his fault, but they rectified that with Tyler Hoechlin. They gave you a lot of Clark, and you get to see Clark in school activities and being a parent and still trying to be a nice guy while dealing with two teenage boys that are completely different. So that side of him, I think, is the most important, is the Clark Kent side, and I think he did that perfectly.
Yeah, a lot of people talk highly of Lois and Clark. It was one of the more popular shows, and I think when you had Henry Cavill as your big screen Superman, this is one where people watched this show and was like, "This is kind of more what I want on my big screen Superman." So
Mhm.
I don't know how much of an influence it maybe had in James Gunn looking at David Cornsweet's Superman and kind of rectifying that a little bit, but you felt like this is one of the first things in a while that kind of got people back on the path. And like it is, it's highly rated. People love the show. I definitely need to check it out. But I couldn't argue because even not from you, but just from the mass audience, they love Lois and Clark and they love Superman and how it's portrayed. So he ranks number 3 on our list on the most loved side. At number 2, we only had 2 left. One's on the big screen, one's on the small screen, but I don't think you can argue about these at the top 2. So at number 2, Tom Welling from Smallville.
Yeah, Tom Welling. I know you might not remember a lot about him. That season went on, I think, for 13 seasons.
Yeah.
Came out in like 2000, 2001, and you get to see Clark Kent when he's like 14, 15 years old, all the way up until an adult, meeting people, fighting villains, and as is Superman fashion, he is trying to most likely save the villains most of the time instead of just pummel them, as we've seen in some other movies. So he's Clark Kent. His Clark Kent is what you get for like the first 6 or 7 seasons, straight up Clark Kent doing heroism in secret.
Yeah.
And there's times where he's doing stuff like he's disobeying laws to help people. He's going across the city, during times where he's supposed to be doing something else to help people. Everything he does in that entire show is to help people. And they start off from the ground up and work their way all the way up to the last season when he finally puts on the cape. So you don't get to see him when he puts on the cape. But as far as Superman goes, he calls himself the red blue blur because he's always running so fast, and he has like a red shirt on and jeans and maybe a jean jacket,
Yeah.
and that's all people see is that blur. But it's constant. He's saving people at super speed the entire duration of this show. It's great to
Yeah,
watch.
yeah. I don't think you really argue much about Smallville. I mean, it had such a big influence that it's literally was put in Man of Steel. Well, they took people out of Smallville, the actual show, and brought those same characters back, saying, "Well, this is him just before now he's hit the big screen." So
Mhm.
I think Smallville had a major influence. I mean, Tom Welling, people love Smallville, and it's a show that's gonna live on. You probably go 50 years down the road, and it's like, yo, I'm catching up on Smallville. I haven't seen it in a while because it is
Right.
such a great show in the portrayal of Superman. That so Tom Welling definitely hit it out the park with that. And so he makes number 2 on our most loved, most hated list. So, Scotty, who is the most loved Superman of all time?
Christopher Reeves, number 1. And I believe he wasn't the first Superman. I think he may have been the third. I think George Reeves,
Yeah,
who they're not related, but he was the first one, I believe. But
yeah,
Christopher Reeve, from the look, first of all, his Clark Kent was the goofy as hell. He was uncoordinated. Clark Kent nailed it. Superman completely nailed it. Bright colors, smile on the face, the curl was coming down, the compassion. Every movie, he had a horrible movie. That movie with who was that he was with?
Oh, yeah. I think he had a couple, but he had one with the comedian.
Who was it? Yeah, who was that? I can't remember his name. How can I not
Richard
remember?
Pryor. There we go,
Richard
Richard
Pryor.
Pryor.
That's right. He was a Richard Pryor. I was like, oh, that movie's terrible. But
Yeah,
the rest of them, as far as Superman goes, he knocked that role out the park and then continued to knock that role out the park in real life until he passed away. So that's
yeah,
not like in his first movie. If you go by movies, his first Superman movie is a perfect Superman movie. I don't think there's any like even from the music. I don't even care about music in the movie. The music was perfect in that movie. The
yeah.
acting was perfect in that movie. His relationship with Lois was perfect. Everything in the movie was very well done. To this day, I can go back and watch that first one, maybe the first and the second one, and then move it along. One of these days, I probably will do a Superman movie watch day. and watch everything Superman like.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good review. Yeah, I mean, Christopher Reeve has been the model, and he's kind of our first. Yeah, we had George Reeves before that, and then I know Christopher Reeve got lucky because the other Superman passed away before, so he was the second choice, and then he was brought up. But just as Superman, as a person, as an actor, as Clark Kent, being able to differentiate between Clark Kent and Superman without just like a look or throwing on a wig or something, saying they're different people. Kind of like when we say people playing two roles, and it's like you got to make one crazy to believe they're two separate people. You really can believe they're two separate people in the way he acts and kind of his portrayal and just emotion. I mean, Christopher Reeve is a Juilliard trained actor. Like you can see it come out. Like he really knows what he's doing. He really knows how to portray. He really knows how to take a step back and really just be human. Even though behind all that he's got this massive power and everything like that. So I don't know if I'll ask you the question. Do you think Christopher Reeve will ever really be top? Because even now going to our generation, I don't know if the generation behind us has watched the original Superman movie. I'm sure if they're in the nerd and comic stuff, they have. But do you think he will ever be topped as number one? Like, is it actually possible?
I think it is possible if we think about like this, like he has passed away, so it's bound to be before me and you pass away. It's bound to be a Superman movie that tops Superman 1 and 2. It's bound to happen. But one thing that I'm not sure as far as tops is going to top the impact. Like Christopher
Yeah.
Reeves one that came out, what is that, 88, something like that? Came out 87, 88?
Yeah, it was early 80s or
When
maybe
that
mid
came
80s.
out, yeah, when that came out to now, people are still talking about that. That's over 30 years. Do I think there's going to be a Superman film that is talked about for 30 years in that way? I don't think so. Not while we're alive.
Well,
So
they
in
they'll
that regard, no, I don't think it's going to be top.
yeah, they won't give him a chance. They'll draw because it's like now it's not about making a good movie. It's like it's about making a good movie, and once you make a good one, it's like keep it flowing. And then if you make a bad one, it's like, oh, we got to make up for that.
Yeah,
Fantastic Four 2015. So it's like
yeah.
we got to put something out there. But yeah, I mean, Christopher Reeve, I heard another movie reviewer talking about it. He said it was a family event when they went to see Superman. You're talking about people who have no idea who Superman is,
Right.
who Clark Kent is, and it was a family event of going to see that and leaving out still with that level of nostalgia even now. So I think he's firmly cemented at number one. We will see if he's ever topped, but it's more Superman to come out, more movies to come out, so there will be opportunity. Scotty,
Yep.
that's all I got. You got anything to add on?
That's all we got. I think we nailed it. I think our list is perfect.
All right, so just a recap for you. Dean Cain at most hated at 7, Brandon Roof following him at 6, Henry Cavill at 5, hitting that middle point, David Cornsweet at 4, Tyler Hoechlin at 3 from Lois and Clark, Tom Welling at 2 from Smallville, and Christopher Reeve, number 1 for the most loved side of Superman. Comment down below. Let us know. What's your ranking? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why not? Why so? And don't forget to like that video. Hit the sub button. Minor League Films here. Scotty and I will be back to do more videos. Don't forget to check us out. Scotty, where can they find us if not here on YouTube?
They can find us on Kuronocomics on TikTok, MLFHQ on here, and on IG. We are Minor League Films. We're active at least once a day.
There you go. Like the video, subscribe, all that. We will see you soon. All that good stuff. We'll catch you next time.
I used to do it at the same time I did it.
Bro, that's my thing.